Hi, this is Gene Acasella from Port St. John, Florida, and you're listening to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener.
Oh, listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central show. That was the wrong one. We do it live here every Tuesday evening.
We'll do it live.
That's right, Bill. Show is airing 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern each and every Tuesday night. Programming note coming up for next month, if I can remember to tell you. If you don't get it live, you'll get hour number 1 on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. You'll also get hour number 2 on Thursday. We'll talk about Friday here in a moment. Barbecue Central show originates from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
Still to come on the show this evening in about 13 minutes from now, Danny Dobrzinski from Cooking in the Yard. And we will close out the show with Amber Glanville of Pit Barrel Cookers, so stay tuned for that. We say good evening to those of you watching this show tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show. You can also watch the show on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where there is a new YouTube poll question of the week, and we're asking everybody this. Is it a shame that Doug Scheiding has met Sam the Cooking Guy in person and I haven't? And currently 70% of you are saying yes. We're dropping in percentage numbers, by the way. We want to get that number up as close to 100% as we can, because it is a loaded question, and it is a shame that Doug has now hung out with Sam the Cooking Guy twice. As recently as last Wednesday, if you can believe it. That's not funny. Again, if it's not for this show, that relationship is not happening.
Andrew, you are
not friends with Sam the Cooking Guy. I love that drop. So we'll see how the rest of that poll plays out through the next 60 minutes or so, and I will really try to remember to give you the final results. I did it last week, I remembered, but a month before I even remembered to do it the last time. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, episode 358, taking you back to November 15th of 2011. So let me get this right, 12th and 13th and 14th. So it will be 13 years to the day on this coming Friday, which will be November 15th, but we'll take you back 13 years to the prior on November 15th of 2011, and being featured this week is a guy by the name of Shane Draper, the founder of Draper's Barbecue back in the day. Ended up becoming quite a successful seller of barbecue sauces and barbecue rubs, his own namesake brand. Eventually became quite an integral part of Guerrilla Grills before they sold off to AOB, which I believe is American Outdoor Brands, a few years back during the pandemic. So, Shane, if you're listening, hope that you're well and that you and yours have a great holiday season and a great Thanksgiving coming up, of course. If you go to the full show, just as an added teaser or an enticement for you to click the link for the full show, so to not only hear the full Shane Draper segment, there's also a segment with Dr. Barbecue talking about deep frying turkeys in the show. That's something you might be getting into during this holiday season. We just learned with Robert Moss that the Cajuns, Western Louisiana, were the folks that were credited with doing fried turkeys for the first time. Ugh. Must be the pizza talking. So either way, you want some Shane, you want some Dr. Barbecue, you want both. Click on the link that takes you back to the full show, and you can hear it all again in its glorious fashion and see that if a 13-year-old show doesn't hold up from a content perspective. By the way, the talk out of this particular Best Moment show is great. John really goes over the top to sell it, and he does it well. Even I went to the old show and listened to the whole damn thing, and as he promised, filled with great value. So, John, thank you for the build-up. Not only was it over the top and potentially gratuitous, it was 100% accurate. So, hitting all the check marks of a brilliant talk-up, you've done it. Don't forget you can subscribe to the show by visiting thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe and choose from there. And if you want to hear a past guest or segment that you think has been lost in the archives, you email that John and let him know what you would like to hear. That's John, J-O-N, John, J-O-N, at thebbqcentralshow.com. Let him know what you would like to hear, and he'll do his best to meet your expectations.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live-fire breaking news across the country, nay, the globe. And I am here to give you your T-shirt update. Folks, it's my fault. Look, please forgive me. I'm begging you. I told you this is why I don't do this stuff, because it's on me. But I took your money, so don't worry. If it's one thing I can tell you, this is not any type of meter situation, if you know what I mean. Not meter. I'm not taking your money and hoarding it for months and months and years only to slowly trickle out your T-shirts. I have all the T-shirts here. I have the spreadsheet. Ran into a small issue. Ben was going to send them out Monday. Guess what? Closed. By the way, happy belated Veterans Day to every single past veteran, and of course, all of you that are currently serving the country, something that I didn't do, something I did not have the testicular fortitude to do. So anybody that is choosing to do it currently in the active state, thank you very much. And anybody that has done it for any amount of time in the past, thank you very much for doing that. So my attempt to get to the post office yesterday was rebuffed by Veterans Day, which is certainly great. So don't worry. I'm hoping by the end of the week, everybody has their shirts in the mail. You will start seeing them relatively soon after that. But as I told you up front, nope, this is not expedited shipping or anything like that. Everything's done on the cheap because I'm not making any money on this because I don't want to make any money on it. I'm not here to make money on the backs of my audience or off the backs of my audience. I'm not going to do that. Hey, did I tell you, by the way, that the World Food Championships is taking place as we speak right this very moment in Indianapolis, Indiana? Right. Oh, no. It appears, hold on. Let me go to the main website. Oh, no. Let me give an F5 refresh. Let me give a Control F5 refresh. Well, that's not good at all. It appears that the World Food Championships website has crashed.
Get that free stuff out of here.
Indeed. Oh, I can't even get to the thing that was just up there. Wow. Well, that's a shame. That must mean, or that should probably tell you, that indeed World Food Championships is as popular as it's ever been, perhaps even more popular than it's ever been, because I don't recall the last time I tried to go on the World Food Championships website and it wasn't there. Unable to connect to database. All right, I tried it again and this isn't happening. So be it. These are the things that happen in live show. Email Steve in Tennessee. Greg, could be one of the funniest interviews I've ever heard you do with Malcolm Reed. Maybe we should, quote from Malcolm, maybe we should try and eat ponies. They might be a little more tender, close quote. I spit my coffee out. And if that wasn't good enough, Malcolm moves into bison hunting. Quote, well, they just stand there. They're pretty big, close quote. I can't wait for the January interview. I guess you just walk up to the buffalo and shoot it in the head. Great jobs. Regards, Steve. Steve, thank you for writing in, of course. Terry from Kentucky has written in as well, but I'm fresh out of time for Terry in Kentucky. Maybe next week, pal. Much to my chagrin, I can only imagine what you were writing in about, Terry. A backhanded compliment, a kick in the balls directly to me, like your Norm. Terry. All right, we have Danny Dobrzinski waiting in the wings. Before we get to him, let's talk about Franklin Barbecue Pits. What you have with the Franklin Pit is a deeply thought out and refined version of the old propane-style tank cookers that Aaron built for Franklin Barbecue stylistically. It reflects the kind of bare-bones industrial handmade aesthetic that he loves, as in the patina, and the way the build allows you to see the welds and the craftsmanship. The Franklin Pit is primarily made of quarter-inch, thick American-made steel. Anything that sees heat is engineered to be incredibly solid and should last at least a century or more if cared for properly. The thickness of that steel guarantees professional-grade heat retention, which is a critical component to making great barbecue. Every Franklin Pit is unique unto itself with its own natural markings and its own badge number. Franklin Pits can be found at fine barbecue specialty stores in select regions of the country. If you, the listener, want to own a Franklin Barbecue Pit, but you don't live in a part of the country that has a certified dealer nearby, you can also go to the website franklinbbqpits.com and purchase a pit right there on the website. Franklin Pits will ship a Franklin Pit right to your driveway. Simple as that. Once again, the website is franklinbbqpits.com. If you're in the greater Cleveland area, if you don't mind going south almost an hour and then a little further east, you go to Hartville Hardware. They are a dealer here in the Ohio region. It's a big region. All right, we're back with Cooking in the Yard. Stick around, I'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories that we'll talk about next segment. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or professional, it's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. You visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. My first guest in the second hour, the creator behind the website Cooking in the Yard, where he is showing you some great and delicious recipes for you to try. He is a self-professed good eater and an evolving backyard cook. We welcome first-time guest to the show, Danny Dobrzinski. Danny, appreciate you making time for the show this evening. We have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. I preface this by saying this is a loaded question. Is it a shame that Doug Scheiding, Texas Embedded correspondent, has met Sam the Cooking Guy in person and I haven't? Yes or no?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. It's because Sam the Cooking Guy is on my Mount Rushmore of content creators as well. And I think anybody that hasn't met him should, and I would love to meet him myself.
Yes,
so I think
I
it's a resounding yes for me.
I agree. All right. So I think the mic is not picking up for some reason. So are you able to go through a quick connection recycle and then give it a shot here? By the way, no worries. 74% of the YouTube voting public is saying that yes, it is a shame that I have not met Sam the Cooking Guy. Let's give it a try now. Not yet. All right. 26% of you are saying no, it is not a shame, but 74% of you are saying that it is a shame that I haven't met him. We on board now? Oh.
How do we sound now, Greg?
Still sounds the same.
Okay. Yeah, it's not coming off of my
computer,
my AirPod. It's not going to my my external microphone here. Yeah, I don't know why. Microphone hitting reconnect and it's not sticking.
Any chance you might be able to? Oh, I think you there. Now he's back. Same thing.
How do we sound? Check.
Yeah, same thing.
Gotcha.
Can you have the sound go through your computer speakers and see if that doesn't press that way?
Will do.
Yep. Zach of all trades saying I can hear him fine. I know, Zach, but I'm a stickler. I'm a stickler, Zach. Bear with me. Now that does sound a little different.
How do we sound now?
All right, I like it. Very good. All
right.
We've done it. All right, so first time on the show, Danny's, as we do with all first-time guests, maybe a little background on you, where you grew up and where you might home base at now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm originally from New Jersey. Hopefully nobody out there is going to hold that against me in the barbecue world, even though there's an up-and-coming barbecue scene out there as well now, too. And I've bounced around to different places. In the mid-2000s, I lived in Texas for 12 years. I lived in Austin, Texas. And talk about some great barbecue. And that's where I really learned the craft for a couple of reasons, I will say. Number one, I'm just a curious person. As you mentioned, I love to eat. And so it was a good match there. Number two, I really got tired of standing in line for 4 or 5 hours for a good plate of barbecue. So it gave me something to do, that hobby that I was missing out on maybe at that point, to learn about brisket, to learn about pulled pork. I literally started from zero, YouTube videos, the whole nine, and learned my barbecue craft in Texas and have been refining it since.
Outside of the live fire realm, were you somebody that was real interested in cooking, or did you do that a lot as a kid, or not so much?
Yeah, so I got a little bit of the taste of the kitchen from the family. Mom coming home from work and saying, hey, start the water boiling or do this or chop the onions or do that sort of thing. So, I got that early, and, from there, I just never let it go. Like I said, I like to eat, and I think that's the whole thing revolves around eating and, making my own food and my own flavors and my own tastes really kind of took off in the last few years.
Are you still in Texas?
I actually live in Oklahoma now, just outside of Oklahoma City. So a couple of years ago, the family moved up here. So just a little ways up I-35.
You ever been to Clark Crew Barbecue?
It's my favorite place in Oklahoma City.
All right. Do you know Travis?
Yeah. Have you met him? I haven't. I've conversed with him on Instagram, though. I took a picture at one point and he sent me a note and, said thanks. And we talked for just a minute, but haven't met him in person. Travis, if you're listening, hit me up, buddy.
If you, he's very busy. I know he's into a lot of different business ventures with this other bar and grill company. I think there was East Coast based as well. But if you mention my name, I'm going to tell you that's probably going to do a lot of big things for you, especially if he's available. All of a sudden the red carpet comes out. But Travis has been a friend of the show for, well over a decade at this point. A really great human being. All right. So what kind of cookers does a cooking in the yard guy have at this point?
At this point, I've got pretty much one of everything. I'm cooking on pellet cookers. I've got a big offset out in the yard. I've got a big green egg, and I dabble in a little bit of propane as well. Cue the Hank Hill propane and propane accessories, but my propane cooker is cool. I use the Schwank infrared cooker for that, and it's a game changer. I love that thing. So if you're going to cook on propane, get a Schwank.
All right, so they happen to be a sponsor of the show. I don't actually have one in my possession yet, but Andrew, please, let's make that happen. So I'm curious, as someone who has now had folks just by sheer happenstance owning a Schwank grill, how do you find out about it, number one, and then what turns you on about it? What did you like over some of the other propane options?
I think the biggest thing that turned me on, first of all, and how I found out about it was on social media, seeing people cooking on it and seeing, what it can produce and how quickly it can cook a steak. I've got 2 small kids and my wife is inside, waiting for the food to be ready. So time is at a premium a lot of times. And to be able to cook a steak, a nice steak in 4 or 5 minutes is pretty awesome to be able to do that. And, the other thing that I really like about using it is you can kind of control your food a little bit more, right? If you take your steak out and you throw it on the grill over the infrared burner, you can't adjust it. You can't raise and lower it like you can in the Schwank. You can move your steak further and closer to the burner depending on what you're needing at that point. So, the flexibility that it gives you from that standpoint is really cool. And one of the other things that I've started doing with it as well is, as kind of noted in my social media videos, I don't just cook the typical run-of-the-mill item, right? There's only so many ways to cook a steak. Everybody's seen a steak cooked a million times on social media at this point. So I like trying to figure out new ways to use the Schwank grill. It's one burner, right? One shelf, but I've used it to reverse sear. I've used it to cook other things like, peppers and onions. I cook fajitas in it, put a small cast iron pan underneath the shelf, and it kind of acts like that oven sort of environment while the steak is cooking up above. So I think it's more flexible than people realize and think it is at face value.
It does appear to be highly portable. Are you somebody that, gets outside of the backyard where you would either consider, or maybe you've actually taken it out and used it?
I haven't yet. But the next tailgate that somebody invites me to, it's on, right? Because it's just, it's light considering what it is and what you can do with it. You connect it to your propane and you're off, and you're sitting in a parking lot at a football game. You don't have to worry about the charcoal, catching your car on fire, or, whatever, right? It's just, you turn it on, you cook, you turn it off, and you go do your thing.
One of the things that I hear as a obstacle would be, I can't cook enough on it. Is that a valid criticism, or is that something that's easily overcome?
Well, I wouldn't do a catering event for 100 people on it.
Right.
Cooking for a small family. And I've done, backyard barbecue parties with, 15 or 20 people on there. The thing about it, though, is it just cooks so quickly. Like I said, I today for lunch, I recorded a piece of content and I made a beautiful, 2-inch thick New York strip. It was awesome, and cooked it in, I think, 6 minutes total. About 3 minutes aside, it ended up being. You rest it for a few minutes, and you're done. So you can crank out stuff pretty quickly on that.
All right, so proponent of the Schwank grill, it sounds like, so that's good to hear, and continues to help push people over the fence if they're on it. From a social media standpoint, you quickly go to Instagram, you see you got 300,000 plus followers. When do you know you have an audience that is really engaging you?
The audience engagement comes in different waves. I've noticed. I've been doing social media now for a little over 4.5 years. I started April of 2020, which a lot of people did at that time when the COVID.
You started everything in 2020, like not before that.
From zero. I was a person that and I say this to my wife all the time, why do you have an Instagram and a Facebook account? Like, because you'd post to one and it would automatically post to the other. And I never really understood what was going on there. So yeah, it started from zero, and it's been a blast doing it. But as far as the audience engagement, it comes in waves. Like I said, when people start asking you questions about what you're doing, you realize that you have people's attention at that point. And even if it's, why did you do it this way or versus that way? And then people start criticizing, which is, it is what it is. It's a benefit to a content creator because any engagement is good engagement. And then people start asking for things like my cookbook I put out about a year and a half ago. People were asking me, do you have a cookbook that I can buy or give as a gift? And, created a cookbook. And then people would say, do you have a website where all your recipes are housed that I can send, email recipes to my grandkids or, whatever. The website came from that for recipes. So, over time, I think, having enough content being out there, things start to happen and people's attention starts to get grabbed at some point.
Is that book a self-published thing?
Not self-published. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. I've got a publisher called Found that did the publishing on that.
How well does the book do?
It does well, and it does as well as I want it to. I'll be honest with you.
What does that mean?
It's a very political answer. In that I never really set out to have the book be a main revenue stream for me and my family. I wanted to do it just, so that I could say that I did, my family loves it, that sort of thing. But I heard you say earlier, actually, you're not a fan of monetizing your followers or your fans or making money off the backs of them, right? So I put it out there for whoever wants to buy it and whoever's interested in it, but I don't shove it down people's throats. I should probably promote it more. This is probably bad business here that you're hearing me say. I should probably promote my own product more. But it's something to be out there to say that I've got, and it's been a lot of fun with it so far.
Well, I think it's very admirable for you to say that. I think writing a book nowadays, so it's a much different conversation when I was so I've started this show back in 2006 as just a podcast, transitioned to a live show in 2008. And I've talked to people that have released books every spring since 2006. And the landscape has changed. In the beginning, you could make a living writing a book, and it has slowly and surely changed to this is just another avenue to get Danny's name and brand out, or to expose me to a older crowd that still likes to have a tangible piece of reading material because they're 60 plus and they're not using an e-reader or on the internet or whatever. So this just is a different level of exposure to do. Maybe you make some money, but you're not getting a $750,000 advance, that you're going to, only use a portion. You can put the rest in the bank. So it's good to see that you're out there doing it. You see that maybe you should be hitting it, because I think now it's more about, when Sam the cooking guy is talking about a new book, he's hitting it hard, and it's like, what can you show me in pre-sale? And I would assume with your type of following, like you could do some pretty good pre-sale numbers. You could probably make a pretty good chunk at advance or whatever, but it just doesn't seem like, it's not that it's not your style, but it's not the main focal point for you.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's not the main strategy. And, like you said, it's nice to have it there. People ask me for one. I say, here it is, here's the link, and it, turns into a sale. But I prefer getting my content and other things out there in other ways. Social media is a big part of it. And I think, to your point as well, the landscape has changed from that standpoint, because social media has gotten more saturated with content creators over the years as well, right? People understand that this is a business at this point. I'm doing it full time. I've been doing it full time for almost 2 years now as my full-time career, which is completely just insane to think about. I wake up every day just kind of wondering if it's real that my job today is to go out into the yard and cook a steak. And, people are seeing that and starting with that mentality of, okay, I'm going to start from zero, and this is going to be a business where I think back more in the days of we did it in 2020 because we had nothing else to do and it was just a hobby. And then at some point somebody said, hey, will you put our product on your page and we'll pay you for it? And it's like, oh, really? You sure? And then it kind of goes from there. So I think the landscape of everything food plus technology really has changed in the last 4 or 5 years.
A lot of people got into this, as you had mentioned, especially into the cooking portion during that pandemic. Many of those folks have closed up shop by now, but you're still grinding, you're still pumping out content. Are you surprised that you're still into it?
Yeah, kind of at times. Yeah. And I will say, the social media business is not easy, for people that aren't in it or don't have anybody close to them that's around it full time. People think of influencers as the pretty girl that's flying on jets across the world and it's, a glamorous lifestyle. For me, having the perspective of spending, almost 20 years in corporate sales and sitting in HR meetings and corporate trainings and the whole thing, when video views are down, it's still better than that. So having the ability to have that perspective has been pretty powerful. And it's I'm going to ride this thing as long as I can and as far as I can, and we'll see where it goes. But it's been a lot of fun thus far, and it's opened a lot of doors. And I'm able to do things like get to sit here and talk to you.
Bacon cheeseburger pickle poppers. Tell me all about it.
That one lit the world on fire. I still can't believe what that video did. I got the idea. I was talking to a buddy at a party one time, and he mentioned the word pickle popper. And it was like, okay, so you substitute a jalapeno pepper for a pickle, and you go from there. Well, I always like to take things one step further. So I cooked up some ground beef, and I hollowed out a pickle, and I put some cheese in there, and I wrapped it in bacon, and I smoked it. And it's amazing. It is really, really good how all the flavors come together. It's like eating a cheeseburger in that one little bite. And the first time I posted it, I think it got 8.5 million views on Instagram. I think it got like 12 million views on TikTok. Like it was crazy. And that was about 3 years ago. And still to this day, I can post that video really at any time and get 1 million views on it. Like it's just so strange and so interesting how certain things resonate with some people and certain things don't. And what I learned from that is there's almost like a cult following for pickle fans and pickle lovers on social media and on the internet. And pickles almost kind of became my thing on my social media pages. I create a lot of pickle recipes. I like pickles. And that was a pretty amazing recipe that happened and came together.
Danny Dobrzinski joining me here on the show. Cookingintheyard.com is the website. You can follow him on Instagram, as I'm sure many of you already are. Cooking in the Yard is the handle over there. Danny, appreciate the time and the intro here this evening. Love to have you back on sooner than later. Continued success.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Danny Dobrzinski right there. Wow. Great first-time appearance. Looking forward to having him on sooner than later because there's a whole bunch of other questions that I want to get into. He seems like the type of guy that's going to let loose in a good way, not in a crazy way. So looking forward to that. All right, we got Amber Glanville, the more attractive half of the Glanville couple. No offense to Noah. I mean, he's handsome. There's no doubt. We'll get to her in just 1 second. Before we do that, we'll talk to you about Big Papa Smokers. This holiday season, give the gift that will light up every backyard. Big Papa Smokers has everything the barbecue lover in your life needs. From award-winning rubs and sauces to the top-of-the-line grills and smokers, Big Papa Smokers is your favorite foundation of flavor with Pitmaster favorites like Sweet Money, Little Louis Seasoned Salt, Cash Cow, Desert Gold, Happy Ending, all my personal favorites, but there's so many more to choose from. For a limited time, use promo code REMPE15, that's REMPE, and then the numerals 15 at checkout. You can get 15% off your entire purchase through December 24th, which is Christmas Eve. Exclusions apply. Visit BigPapaSmokers.com for details. Remember, your food just got better with Big Papa Smokers. Promo code REMPY15 to checkout. Get you 15% off your entire purchase. Now through Christmas Eve. All right, we're back with Amber Glanville right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rempe.
I want to thank Danny Dobrzinski for joining us for the last segment. The sports show being brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. Step into the world of McAuliffe Cigars, where each blend is a chapter in a grand tale of craftsmanship and passion. The portfolio is a symphony of flavors, each note carefully composed to create an unforgettable Nicaraguan smoking experience. The color series is my favorite. Black, blue, and red. Red is right at the top at the moment, but I love blue and I love black. I'm going to have a black tomorrow, I know it. And more colors coming, according to Al and Amanda McAuliffe, so stay tuned for that, McAuliffecigars.com, the website. Helping me close the show tonight is the purveyor of what many feel is the premier upright barrel cooker on the market today, has been considered as such for many years. They recently added a additional barrel brand to the lineup known as Badger Barrel, and tonight we'll be talking about all of that stuff, but also showcasing an accessory that could possibly change your life if you own a Weber Smoky Mountain, as most of us do. Welcoming back our friend Amber Glanville to the show. Hi, Amber.
Hello, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you joining me here this evening. We have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. So we'll ask you, is it a shame that Doug Scheiding has met Sam the Cooking Guy in person and I haven't? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
77% of the YouTube voting public agreeing with you and me that perhaps it's not only a shame, it's borderline a travesty, and that's probably something I have to rectify on my own, but still a loaded question nonetheless. As we all know, 2024 rapidly coming to a close. What kind of business climate does Pit Barrel Cooker find itself in as we get ready to close the year?
Loaded question. No. Interesting. I think it's been an interesting year. It's been an interesting last couple of years since COVID. Excuse me. In our business, COVID for us was super busy. Everybody was cooking outdoors. Everybody was buying grills and smokers and DIY projects, you name it. But it's been interesting the last couple of years. I think that we're, hopefully some good things are going to happen. It is, it's just been a lot of change. The landscape has changed in so many ways. I know you were talking with, was it Danny before me in regards to social media, and everything has changed. AI, there's just so many things it's so hard to keep up with in day to day with business.
When you look at Pit Barrel, and then you also have the newly launched Badger Barrel, how do we compare and contrast how those two different lines are doing?
Badger, we launched Badger. We're making some changes. So Badger Barrel 2.0 is going to be launched again, not a relaunch, but the new, 2.0 version of it's going to be out next summer. So we're hoping for barbecue season next year. They're two different products, very similar in the way that they cook, but as far as who we're trying to reach, the Badger it's a badass Badger that you tailgate with, and it's kind of like a different demographic. The Pit Barrel is your family cooker that's been around for 14 years. It's crazy to think that we've been in business for 14 years, but I think about it, and I was pregnant with Easton, and Easton's almost 14, and it's insane. So, but I think they're two different brands trying to reach two different people. And the Badger, that's available on Amazon. It's available on Walmart. It's more the answer to that more big box retail type market. And the Pit Barrel, we want to keep that close and sell it. We have all of our local retailers that carry it, and we like selling it on our website and having that control.
There have been a number of companies that have been all in on direct to consumer, and then all of a sudden they're flopping and deciding they're going to go into more of a let's build a dealer network mindset. Where do you currently stand in that space, and what changes do you see, if any, as you evolve into the future?
If you have the right retailers that are passionate, that want to promote your product, I think what's hard with our brand is people, you need to case it, right? It's still 14 years. It's fairly new. People will see them sometimes. They're like, oh, I don't know what this is. I'm like, where have you been living? How do you not know what the Pit Barrel is? But so I think for us, if you bring the product in, it's an investment, right? We want you to invest in the product. We want you to invest in learning about the product, educating your people on the product. And I think for us, we've had some really good retailers. We were just talking about one today that came on with us, Owl's Nest Barbecue. He's awesome. But he sold a lot of product, but he's passionate about it.
Yep.
He talks about it. He educates his people, his staff, everybody on it. But for us, I mean, to be quite honest, it's easier for us to just ship direct to the consumer, and they get it in a couple of days, and we control the customer service. And that's something that we pride ourselves on, is our customer service. As you know, it's second to none.
One of the big reasons I wanted to have you on the show tonight was to tell folks about the Weber Smoky Mountain accessory. So let's go ahead. Now, it's been out, but just as a reintroduction, let's talk about this Weber Smoky Mountain accessory and why anybody who has a Smoky Mountain bullet wants to get their hands on this accessory.
Yeah. So the WSM hanging system has been around for a while now, and it transforms your WSM into a pit barrel. So you ultimately can, if you have that cooker, that smoker, you can hang all of your ribs, you can hang your turkey, you can hang your prime rib, you can do all of it. So we just wanted to kind of answer that for people that may not want to jump into the pit barrel, that may be a true Weber Smoky Mountain fan, but wants to get that pit barrel flavor. We wanted to be able to do something like that for an affordable price.
So you're just taking out the water pan of Weber Smoky Mountain and then just hanging away, pretty much, right?
Yeah, and you can fit a ton of food. It holds like 45 pounds of food.
All right, I got a question coming in from the instant chat here, which I'm sure you'll be able to answer. Is this for an 18-inch or a 22-inch Weber Smoky Mountain?
18-inch so far. We have not launched the 22-inch, but right now it's currently for sale for the 18-inch.
What kind of, or how do you know, generally speaking, when an accessory is a success for you guys?
We don't. Just
ever?
Kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
We have business trouble immediately. Where's Noah? Noah?
Noah's helping Max with a school project. No. So I think it's just looking at the numbers. It's talking with our customers. We have always, what's funny is we've been talking a lot about the product, right? We launched 14 years ago with the pit barrel cooker. Then we launched the Junior. And then we did the PBX, which is our largest. Everybody was like, we need the biggest cooker that we can get. We want to cook a ton of food and yada, yada, and it's great. What it's great for is catering. It's great for food trucks, restaurants. There's a lot of people. Another thing that I think people have been using it for too, which I think is super cool, is a lot of schools are using the PBX and they're doing cooking classes. So there's a lot of new youth barbecue programs that the high schools are doing. It's especially in Texas and the South. But I think, obviously you look at sales, you talk to your customers, and you you don't want to have to, yes, you want to innovate, but at the same time, Noah and I were talking about this today with like technology, all the technology that's come out with cookers and different things. And you have to look at your phone to know when things are done. I know that's Noah's biggest thing, right? He's like always said that, but like the pit barrel is truly the best flavor of food, the easiest that you can do. And it's such a affordable price. And I feel like it's such a staple, and it's not going to get old, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm the owner of the company, so I'm going to say that. But even our customers, people are like, I have used every single thing, and I always go back to the pit barrel.
Yeah. So, I mean, the brilliance is in its simplicity. You can fire it up. You set the intake at the bottom one time, and then that's it. You fire it up the right way. You follow the directions, you do it the right way, and then you hang your food. And then, like, you're just off and running. There's no temperature gauge on it. You don't have to get worried about or start your own OCD of temperature like I did when I originally got into it back in the early 2000s. Yeah. I would sit there and watch my Weber Smoky Mountain, go up or down a degree on my Maverick ET73 remote thermometering system. And it would go up or down, and I was like, oh, I gotta make a damper adjustment at the bottom, and I was making myself a wreck. The pit barrel removes all of that. Like, it's just cooking, and then check your food. Oh, is it done? Okay, good. Close it up, and you're done. That's it.
Yeah. I think certain people do get wrapped around the temperature, and we've had people that have sent long emails of paragraph after paragraph of all the temperature imagine. That I'm like, oh Lordy, just let it do its thing. Yep. It will, I promise you. So lighting it is the most important thing, is following the lighting instructions. And I can't stress that enough. When people get the cooker for the first time, it's like, follow the lighting instructions, because it's going to keep those temperatures where you need to be. And people have a hard time, because it is a hot, fast cooker. They have a hard time. Sometimes they want it to run at the 225, and it doesn't need to. You're going to get that brisket in 5 to 6 hours. That's awesome. Yep. So, and the best turkey you'll ever have. And it's turkey time.
And the best rack of lamb you'll ever have.
Oh, we just had rack of lamb. We had rack of lamb on Sunday. That's Noah's favorite.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we had friends over, and Noah's like, we need more racks of lamb. And I said, it's fine. The kids aren't going to eat the lamb. The kids aren't going to eat the lamb. I'm not wasting the lamb on the kids. Now our kids would, but I didn't think our friends' kids would. Right. And so I did 4 racks of lamb, and the kids kept coming back, and Noah's looking at me like, I told you. I'm like,
so you go without lamb. No lamb for Amber.
I know.
Probably. Yeah.
No lamb for Amber. I do it. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need it.
Yeah. It's an incredible lamb cooker. It's an incredible cooker regardless. So all sizes are currently available this holiday season.
Yes, they are. And we're doing a discount right now. We have like a holiday special on the PBX. So we're doing $200 off. I think the code's PBX200. Yes, it is. I just had a look. PBX200. We are doing a special on our cutting boards for the holiday season. That's something too the cutting boards are amazing. You have a cutting board, don't you, Greg?
Yes, it's insane.
Okay,
so
my
favorite part, it is highly aesthetically pleasing. It's the juice channel that runs around it. It's uncomparable on the market, and it's super easy to clean, and it's a presentation piece. When I'm cooking a great cut of meat or an average cut of meat, it's either showcasing how great the cut of meat is, or it's actually elevating the average cut of meat into spectacular, because it is a showpiece to stop all showpieces.
It is. They're gorgeous. And yeah, we love those cutting boards. And yeah, so everything's in stock. We're super excited about the holidays. I can't believe they're going to be here. Can't believe Thanksgiving's a couple weeks away.
Is the Glanville household a big Thanksgiving house in a traditional sense?
It is not. We've always done a Friendsgiving, and this year,
is it because you hate
I'm
holidays?
not doing Friendsgiving. No, I love holidays.
Okay.
I do. It's just we're back in California now, right? So now we are kind of close by our family. My family's not too far away, but I feel like we've always been far away from our family. We lived in Colorado, then we lived in Kentucky. So we've built this group of amazing friends all over that we've usually spend, Thanksgiving with. And so, but it's going to be pretty low key. We're going to do a turkey, of course, in the pit barrel and just hang out.
What are the best sides to cook on the pit barrel?
Smoked mac and cheese, I would say, is a really good side. I love using our veggie basket, the all-purpose basket, and hanging all the vegetables. I feel like people forget about that thing, and it's
the
just
corn hanger.
You're always cooking your meat. The corn hanger,
So great.
but like if you chop up zucchini and squash and bell peppers and all of that, and you just put it in there and season it with all-purpose. See, that's another plug on my all-purpose. The best seasoning ever.
I like the beef and game myself.
I do too. Yeah. I put those seasonings on everything. I put them on my eggs. Yeah.
You still have the shakers?
They're really good. We do.
Those are dynamite.
We do. They are dynamite. Yeah. So yeah, we have everything. We do not, you know what? I just remembered. I think I forgot to give you a coffee mug.
You don't have those anymore, right?
I know, but remember I was going to find one and send it to you.
But you can't tell it over that we're out towards millions all over the globe. Everybody's going to, if Rempe's going to get one,
my God.
I could possibly get one too, right? You're going to get emails.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. I just screwed myself.
Yes. Well.
So anywho, we'll talk offline.
Offline. That's right. We were just kidding, everybody. There's not really coffee mugs, but we'll pick up that conversation later.
There's definitely not. That's for sure.
Unrelated to everything we've talked about. Let me stop for a second. Is there anything else pit barrel wise that you want to talk about or mention before I turn topic?
No, I mean, it's the best outdoor cooker on the market. Hands down.
No cave cow.
I no cave cow. We are not making cave cow steaks here.
That's right.
For sure.
All right. Unrelated to anything we've talked about tonight. I had mentioned it probably in a sound check to you months and months ago. And now I'm coming with a full ask right here in the global public. If I bring back American Idol Barbecue Central Show edition, will Amber Glanville be one of the participants in our revision of the show?
Yes, I absolutely will. Yep. You've heard it here first, people.
Wow. All right. So now I just have to sell it to Doug and Rusty and John and Matt, and they have to do what I say. Otherwise, I replace them as embedded correspondents in whatever state they're in. And you heard it here. Amber will join it. And I think I will have what I'm terming a masked singer as well that will be joining in the festivity. So we could have upwards of 7 or 8 participants. It could go damn near 3 months for this whole thing.
I like it. What's the prize?
Well, the prize is if you make it to the finals, you get to sing live in front of everybody. How about that?
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yes. And
it's amazing and terrifying at the same time.
If you win, you can either say we got to go the next year or we can call it a life for that part of the show. It'll be up to you. And then a ring, of course.
Okay.
Everybody gets a ring.
So I could just say I was the Barbecue Central American Idol winner.
Yeah, forever
because
and ever.
there's not going to be another one.
You're the
forever
last
and ever.
one.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, you walk off shot.
I like that.
Walk off shot.
Okay.
All right.
Mic drop. Got
I
it.
will start the logistic. I will do the re-logisticalization of this particular event, and then I'll get back to you with dates and then all the particulars that you have to figure out if you want to really work through it or not. But you said yes, so you're going to have to do it. All right.
I did say yes. I've committed.
Amber, tell everybody I said hello. I hope you guys have a great Friendsgiving when you get to it, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Sounds good.
All right.
Same to you. Thanks, Greg.
There she is. Amber Glanville right there. Pitbarrelcooker.com is the place to go if you were a Badger Barrel fan. You can wait until this coming summer where you will find a refreshed or revised Badger Barrel. So we look forward to that. I didn't get the website. However, let me get it out here now because I think it was going on for the next couple weeks. the Sarcoma Foundation. What's it? Giving Tuesday? Is that what it's called? That's probably after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday. I'll have more information about it next week. But if you're somebody that's looking for a charity write-off, or you're looking to support, in particular, sarcoma cancer research, I know I'm going to be giving a lot because MD Anderson pretty much saved my wife's life. But if you're somebody that's interested in that, let me know through email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com, and I can set you with some info, but I'll make sure that I get more info as we lead into Giving Tuesday, and we'll talk about that next week and then the week after before we get into the actual Thanksgiving holiday. So if you are somebody that likes to give or make donations, or you need that write-off or whatever, we would certainly appreciate it. And I'll get you more info next week on that, but just wanted to put it out there as a promo. We're going to close the show. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Amber Glanville for joining us last segment. pitbarrelcooker.com, the place to go. Save the emails for the coffee mug. It's mine, all mine, and you can't have it. If I get it, I'll show you, and you're going to be like, damn, that is the best coffee mug. So cute. I don't go around saying things are so cute, but that coffee mug, so cute. I only hope a damn minute. I'll have to investigate further. As soon as I get it in my hands, I'll show you, and you're going to be so jelly of me and my Pit Barrel Cooker coffee mug, which I had. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe it broke. I don't know, but I have to get one. I'm feverishly trying to get my hands on one. Amber said that maybe she has one tucked away in the archive somewhere. I hope so. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here all the way back in the first hour. Who was it? It was Chris Young from Combustion Inc., filling in for Meathead. Meathead, we hope everything is going well on your end, pal. And then after Chris Young, it was Robert Moss. And then in the second hour, we had Danny Dobrzinski from Cooking in the Yard, doing it full time. And closing the show, Amber Glanville from Pit Barrel Cooker. We got a big one planned for you next week. It's the third Tuesday of the month. Of course, third Tuesday of the month will bring a visit from quarterly guest Steven Reichlin. And then we got Wes Wright at 9:35. We have Susie Bullock making her last appearance. And we're open currently 35 past, but we'll see what happens from there. So big show planned for you next week. So, how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American Greg Rempe saying, "Come on! Come on!"
Hey, what's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.